Welcome to the Tyrepress Podcast. I'm Andrew Bogey. Today I'm joined by the Commercial Director of Carlton Forest Group, Graham White. Graham has been with Carlton Forest for 4 years. He brought with him warehouse and logistics experience from working for one of the UK's biggest retailers in its 1.3 million square foot distribution centre. The Carlton Forest Group comprises two major business areas. It was primarily a third-party logistics business, but latterly has diversified with Carlton Forest IRR Waste2Energy. The renewable energy side of Carlton Forest involves the operation of its own continuous pyrolysis plant for recovering energy from end-of-life tyres, among other waste streams. It also manufactures this technology to supply to other businesses. When I spoke to Graham, Carlton Forest had just taken its first order in the UK for this technology.
How has Carlton Forest sort of decided to move into the recycling side of things? What's the thinking behind that from where it was initially?
Yeah, so interesting story. Been operating as a logistics business for many years, and this all started over 10 years ago, where Mark Pepper, the owner of Carlton Forest Group, were looking for technologies of this nature to actually operate on the site in Worksop, to use that plant to do his own carbon recovery project, and at the same time provide power from end-of-life tyres for his logistics park in Worksop. And along that journey, not only has he moved forward with his own project, but he's also bought a manufacturing business that actually makes this technology. So as well as running his own kit, he can make that for other businesses as well. And, you know, with everything that's happening in the industry, you know, he sees that opportunity because this technology is just, you know, it's timely in its availability, particularly in the UK.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. So it kind of came out of a commercial need for the existing business.
Yeah, I mean, Mark and the team have literally, you know, they've travelled the world, they've seen all these different technologies and come across a strong pyrolysis operator and manufacturer in South Africa. Found a nice modular 1 tonne per hour end-of-life tyre continuous pyrolysis system that just works. You know, really nice system. You can put these in a 10,000 square foot building. And in the last say 18 months, 2 years, the focus has been getting that system over here from South Africa, upgrading it for the UK. So we've got all, you know, your CE marking, your ATEX rating, fully permitted site. We're in a position where we've lined up manufacturing for 2020 and 2021, and we're taking orders in the UK from other businesses for this same kit. So yeah, our Mark's vision, strategy plan, you know, is really coming into its own now. It's starting to be realised. So it's good.
So there seems to be a high level of interest in industrialised recycling systems at the moment in the UK, especially for end-of-life tyres. Can you give us a bit of background on why that is?
Yeah, so I mean, we're certainly seeing that interest. Certainly, you know, my phone has never stopped ringing. But yeah, I mean, there's many reasons, Andrew. I mean, to start with, these tyres are made to last. You know, these are a very difficult product to recycle. You know, it's not just rubber. There's various different elements and materials. It's just a difficult product to process. I think UK, you know, we're just over capacity. But not only that, the current applications and outlets in this country are constantly being squeezed or restricted for the right reasons. So, as we know, landfilling of full tyres was banned in 2003. Subsequently, in 2006, they then banned landfilling shredded tyres as well. Since then, we've got cement kilns looking at alternative fuels, which is probably the single biggest outlet for end-of-life tyres in this country at present, which also exporting has become a lot more expensive, mainly driven, in my opinion, by a number of these types of plants or batching systems currently out in India, where most of the exporting was sent to. A lot of these plants now have been shut down of late. So it's very challenging in this country. Hence, the reason we've seized this opportunity to make this kind of continuous pyrolysis technology to give another outlet in this country and a sustainable solution to dealing with end-of-life tyres.
It seems like there's some more legislative support as well from the current government as of the beginning of this year. Would you say that's informed this move as well on Carlton Forest?
Yeah, certainly. As well as that, and tightening restrictions, and it's cost prohibitive as well. So it's constantly going, it's not viable to export anymore. So as well as the what government's doing, it's just becoming more challenging. I think that's certainly helping bringing pyrolysis to the forefront of recycling initiatives, particularly end-of-life tyres, into fruition to this country. So yeah, we think we're in a great place.
So could you possibly move on to talk to us a little bit about your specific type of pyrolysis solution? Maybe talk about the maybe negative points of existing solutions and how your system addresses them.
So that again, sorry, Andrew, I missed that.
Sorry, I was just asking whether you could explain how your system of pyrolysis might differ from existing solutions in the market.
Yeah, so I think typically there's, if you categorise the two, you've got your typical batching systems, which from experience in most cases, these systems have got stationary kilns. They operate at temperatures, pretty high temperatures, between 450 and 650 degrees. The amount of time that end-of-life rubber spends in them kilns obviously varies depending on the size of the tyres. So these are typically full tyres going in, which lends itself to, unfortunately, because it's a batch process, giving inconsistent outputs. And there's a lot of downtime associated with these systems as well. You're loading them up, you're clearing them out, etc., etc. So where ours varies in terms of a continuous system is that we know this is a superior product. You just in the name, it's continuous, so you have greater throughput, less downtime. Our systems actually come with 2 rotating kilns or reactors, so it's a very controlled process where we actually specify that the tyres are prepped at the front end. So we're putting a tyre chip in with most of the steel and the fibre removed before the process, which again helps control the pyrolysis environment, and you get a consistent output for the products that are produced. And that for us, in terms of our the proposition that we're offering, it ensures that we're getting the best outputs for the products through our continuous process.
Great. Graham, is the technology, you mentioned South Africa early on about where the technology was sourced for this current solution. What markets currently have this system in play at the moment?
What markets for the systems or for the products? So we're already speaking to a number of tyre recyclers in the UK. Numerous of them. It's absolutely perfect for them. It gives them that sustainable outlet for processing end-of-life tyres. I think this is also and we will be pushing out to the tyre manufacturers in UK and globally particularly with our energy range for the system. So we're, as well as selling the pyrolysis system, we're also going to be selling the associated power generation kit, which you basically use the oil produced in the process through an engine, and we can be producing 2 meg of electric from a ton of end-of-life tyres, and subsequently surplus heat that you could use for a direct drying application, example. So for a tyre manufacturing facility who do have a waste rubber, they could use our energy series, or energy we call it, to use their waste to produce power and heat for their site.
Brilliant.
So they're the main two in this country at the moment. What we're also doing in the background, Andrew, and we will share this with yourselves and the press, is we're actually we've got a test kiln on our site. So we're going to be pushing this out to all the recycling industry and quite openly testing other materials through a continuous pyrolysis system as well. And actually, we're yet to set a date yet, but I believe the back end of next week, we'll actually be trialling an RDF material through a pyrolysis system. So we'll keep you updated on that.
Absolutely. Can you maybe give us a bit of an idea about the comparative effectiveness of the continuous pyrolysis system as opposed to other systems in place?
Yeah, so for our system, and I'd say the oil produced in the process, if I were to give you an example of some form of comparison, the oil has very similar properties to that of the heating oil. However, and this is an area that we're very quickly getting into is an understanding that through processes such as distillation techniques and other chemical and oil treatments, we can separate other materials from pyrolysis oils. This is a great raw material that we can extract other chemicals from as well, and fuels. So that's something that we are very much focused on at the minute here.
How about its green credentials? Are they enhanced by the continuous system?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the system itself here, is fully permitted, which is strongly governed by having your controls in place for emissions. But our green credentials is very much focused on quality and control through our system, which we're all focused on, the circular economy, and be able to use absolutely every part of these end-of-life tyres and have them repurposed for other products. So yeah, in terms of green credentials, we're right up there.
You already mentioned recycling plants, a very obvious customer base, I would imagine. But are there other sorts of businesses that could benefit most from your system, and are you targeting any particular sectors?
Our focus very much at the minute, Andrew, is tyre recyclers for obvious reasons, tyre manufacturers, and once we have run successful trials on other materials, I think that will help us determine and formulate who we push out to next, and that's very exciting for us. That could lead us into very many different places, hopefully. And yeah, as first trials are next week, and we'll keep you updated on that.
Excellent. Can you give us any ideas about what sorts of materials, or is that strictly confidential?
No, it's not strictly confidential. No, and we'll definitely share that with you. Yeah. But you know what? We're just not sure ourselves yet. We have an idea, but obviously part of the trials is to test the materials produced and to prove that theory. And yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. So we'll be looking at RDF, plastics, and other things. But we've been very much focused on tyres first, which I'm sure you're very happy about.
Absolutely, it's why we're here. So.
Well, we will keep you updated on everything else that we're doing.
Great, yes, and we'll of course follow those updates. Finally, from me, I wanted to ask about the COVID pandemic, as is obligatory for journalists now.
Yes.
Ask the question. I'd say maybe the introduction of the Environment Bill, from which such industries as recycling is really going to benefit from, as I can see in the UK. That's probably been overshadowed somewhat. It doesn't seem to get the press it deserves for how wide-ranging it was, and there's a very obvious reason for that, of course. But can you maybe address how the pandemic's affected Carlton Forest and how you've been introducing the technology into the UK?
So to be completely honest with you, it hasn't. I think going back to when I introduced myself, we're very fortunate to have a strong operating third-party logistics business, which that has helped to support this launch and bringing this technology into this country. So other than operating slightly differently, I'm probably spending more time on Teams and Zoom than I probably do at home. We have been, I say, very lucky, but we've worked very hard over the last 4 or 5 years to develop a very strong third-party logistics business, which has helped fund and support this particular project. So we have been very lucky through the recent pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, logistics. I suppose it depends on the industry or the industries that you deal with, but logistics have been key for helping the country continue in this period, haven't they?
Yeah, we've been right at the front of that. We sat on 600,000 square foot of warehousing across, split between Hellaby, Worksop, and Barnsley. We run a national distribution network, etc. And we store a lot of food products for some of the major retailers, food packaging, food itself, etc. So yeah, we've seen that we've had to up our level of compliance and control. But thankfully, we've got a brilliant team in logistics. They've just sailed through it with ease, and I'm sure I'm making it sound a lot easier than it has been. But no, we've been very lucky.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, Graham. Thank you for your time and taking the time to speak to us this afternoon.